So, let's
Yeah.
move on to Black Panther.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I
Very,
want to
very good.
say
Go
on
on.
so many levels that this film was just beautifully emotionally and like as much as everything that happened in the film and the story that went on, I actually feel like it was more so that final goodbye to Chadwick. It was
They
like
had
there was
an
so much
impossible
depth to it.
task. They had an impossible task,
Mm,
but they handled it with decorum, grace, and as best they could. And as a result, we got a phenomenal film that they
yeah,
should all be very proud
and
of.
it's like they handled the situation and managed to handle it perfectly, and I think in a way that made sense with the story. And but at the same time, like there was so many things that happened, and like the way the lines of dialogue and stuff that kind of felt like the actors also getting to be kind of pay a tribute to what Chadwick did.
Yeah. Shuri's character arc was really, really good.
Yeah, loved that.
That kind of internal anger about everything, which is very normal. Um,
Yeah,
it is one of the
burying
stages of grief
herself
that
in
she was
work.
clearly stuck in. Yeah. Um, Riri was an absolute highlight for me.
Yeah, I loved how they did Riri.
I really hope that other people who were less aware of the character are now even more excited for her TV show.
I think they will be, and for Armor Wars.
I think Namor as an antagonist was so well done.
Oh, I love. Yeah, I loved them all. I
Uh,
there was just the way that the arc they put Shuri through, and the amount of like loss that she had to deal with, like just all of that, forcing her almost in the wrong direction to
but this goes
then
back.
kind of come back
You,
from that.
it's a really interesting one because this the film kind of works around the idea that Shuri has kind of lost faith in their culture
Yes,
because of what happened to T'Challa, which is why she doesn't believe in the astral plane. She doesn't believe in even bothering to try and fix the heart shaped herb. Technology will protect us. Um, and then when she does get to the astral plane,
it's
she
not what she
sees
thought.
Killmonger, which is a phenomenal directorial decision, by the way.
Oh, I loved that they did that. But
It was so well handled.
it never like occurred to me because obviously we've only experienced it from T'Challa's point of
Yeah,
view.
and he was very well prepared
Because
for it and was expecting to see his father. Blah blah blah.
we didn't see Killmonger's astral plane, did we?
No, no, we did not.
So our experience is like, oh, she's when she does it, we'll go like, oh, she's gonna wake up in the water and see the tree, and it's probably gonna be T'Challa. And I was thinking, like when she took it, I was like, how are they gonna? I was like, I wonder if they're gonna try and do some deep fake shit to try and like do T'Challa because they obviously done.
I assumed she was going to see her mother.
Oh, see, I wasn't. I thought she'd see her brother, but then like obviously I'm like, they've kind of avoided showing him because they didn't want to like out of respect to Chadwick, obviously didn't want to just do some deep fake stuff and
I guess
whatnot.
deep faking makes sense if you need to like really make an actor a lot younger. But when it's because they've passed away, I don't think anyone would have
Yeah,
felt comfortable doing
I,
that.
which is why I was like, this is going to be in. I'm like, what are they going to do here? And then it was Killmonger, and I was like, oh shit, this is
Hmm.
this is not where she should be, which is not a good sign. Like, this is not a good sign of kind of what direction she's about to go in.
Yeah,
Um,
it really just put it this way: this film is handling cultures that me and you know nothing about.
Yeah.
We're both white English guys, so we're not going to sit here and say whether the culture was handled accurately, inaccurately, whatever. What we will say is it was enjoyable to watch. The story was thought provoking. It was beautiful. Once again, just like Killmonger in the first Black Panther film, the antagonist, while you're rooting against them because obviously they want to hurt a lot of people, you do understand how they got to that point.
Yes.
Killmonger obviously grew up in America in a time when it was impossible, and he knows Wakanda has the technology to make it so that other people don't have to live that way. Yes, you don't want him to go and kill loads of people, but you get how he's got there. And then
Mhm.
with Namor, he went to bury his mother, and all he has is a bunch of these people trying to kill him instantly. And he sees his family or his ancestors as slaves.
Yeah.
So it's again, fuck the surface world. It's not to be trusted. We're going to stay hidden.
Yeah, and then people start encroaching on underwater. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing in our territory?" Okay, you've crossed the boundary now. Like,
Yeah.
just like
Do
Wakanda
do
protected themselves.
yeah, do we agree with him just going and murdering a fuck ton of people? Of course not, because that I mean, if he didn't kill people, he wouldn't be the villain. But you do find yourself going, I understand where he's coming from, which
Yeah.
is always a good way to make people consider why the world is the way it is.
It's that thing where we like in Black Panther 1 and even in this, like we've seen Wakanda almost go the same way. Wakanda's been very political in the way that it handled the rest of the world trying to get their vibranium. They would
Yeah,
just take it back or deal with it themselves, or like in a political way, like that whole marching in the French mercenaries was such a badass moment of being like,
yeah,
we know the fuck we know you're the one that's fucking trying to take our shit. Don't sit here and act like you're not.
yeah,
Um, but like Wakanda's very much almost been pushed to the same way that Namor has. Just Namor never like just went straight there. So it's kind of seeing we got to see like, oh, this is what would happen if Wakanda lost that shit. Um,
yeah. And also like the whole thing is set up around the similarities of
mm,
I forget the name of their city and Wakanda. They're both there because of vibranium.
yeah.
It's everything vibranium. It's just that vibranium was near water, so it behaves slightly differently,
Well, it's
and
just
everyone in the world fucking wants some.
it's
And as a
the same.
result, they're going to come after us.
It's the same stuff. It's just the vibranium affected a water-based plant, and the vibranium affected a jungle-based plant. And it's like, I honestly, as soon as I saw like they were doing the whole thing about there was a blue, like a plant that they made, and then this is how they got their powers and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is just the same as the Wakanda plant. Like they are literally like the mirror of Wakanda, just under the water. They've managed to keep completely to themselves because, like IRL, we have not explored the oceans. Like, let's be real. Even if this was real life, like that very easily could be an underwater civilization. We wouldn't know because we haven't explored
But
half the
yeah,
fucking ocean.
with all the power they have and the technology they have through that vibranium, it's very easy for anytime anything gets that low, just bang it up a little bit, throw it back up. They think, oh, the robots can't handle that water. That's fine. Move
Yeah.
on.
Um. So getting to see that, and then I don't know if you had the initial thought I did of when Namor gave Shuri the bracelet and it said it'd been made from the plant. I immediately my brain was like, she's going to use that to remake the plant, the
I
heart.
I I kind of assumed it would be used in some way for that. Um, or either that, or it would have been like a she uses it to find his weakness kind of thing. Um,
I was like, it's the genetic thing that she's missing. Because obviously it's like very unique. So,
obviously we get at the end of the film we get left with M'Baku as the king of Wakanda,
oh yeah, I really
which
enjoyed
I
that
really liked.
kind of character arc that he had from being wanting to fight the rest of the world and just destroy them to actually being the sensible one
he's gone from being so desperate to be king, he's not making the right decisions, to realizing the right decisions will lead him to be king, essentially.
Yeah, and actually being it's that sort of thing where like he's always said, "Oh, we should just march over there and just show the West what we should really do and flex our power." Being young and bolsterous and actually like deep down never actually meaning it. So then when it was actually on the cards and war, he was the one that like, hang on, I mean I was joking about all this stuff. Let's be real, we don't want war. Like and being sensible and that showing, oh shit, that's leadership, that's being a
Yeah.
king.
And like when you had Shuri full of rage, like we're going and we're gonna kill this guy.
Yeah,
And then Bucky's like, are you for real? This is gonna put us in a never ending war with people who are crazy powerful. What the fuck are you thinking? And she's like, no, we're doing this. Listen to me. I'm in charge.
yeah. And him being like, okay, well, she Black Panther now.
Yeah.
Um I liked though that he got to be turned into king, which is going to prove interesting because I don't know if, well, I presume Shuri knows that's the situation
Yeah, no, that was her. That
plan.
was. I mean, when he got off the thing, he said Shuri's not coming.
Yeah,
She told him.
true. Yeah, that's true.
She's like, oh, I'm going to stay the Black Panther. I'm not fit to rule the country right now.
Yeah,
I'm going to go live with my brother's ex missus and get my health sorted. I trust you to keep the country safe and let me know if you
if
need
you
any help.
yeah, if you need me,
Yeah,
Black Panther will be back.
exactly. Which obviously leads to
Post credit scene.
the beautiful revelation in the post credit scene. Now,
Not what I expected. Not what we predicted.
no, not at all. I'm going to go out right away. There has been lots of debates ever since Chadwick very sadly passed about whether T'Challa should be recasted because he's such a brilliant character, or whether T'Challa should just be left dead out of respect for Chadwick.
Yeah,
I think the way they've decided to go with it is fucking perfect.
I
Because
agree.
what they've done is they have recast T'Challa because T'Challa did have a son, but his son was not called T'Challa. Um, and what they're essentially going to do is give us time to explore different Black Panthers, and then eventually there will be a young black man who gets his chance to be T'Challa in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, where they can use
Well,
him in the exact same way they wanted to use T'Challa,
mhm.
um, without taking away from Chadwick, and it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, I think what we got is because obviously let's when Chadwick was still alive and we had Black Panther 1, there was obviously a plan for Black Panther 2 already done and
Yeah.
direction of what was going to be used and happen. And I think it's safe to assume like him having a kid was probably never part of that. And I think the way that they've done it, because we've talked about it, I think on past episodes where yes, Shuri being the Black Panther is nice and it's good in the sense of like we're seeing a woman get to be like a black woman gets to be the Black Panther and representation of that, and it makes sense because after like Chadwick passing, like, but at the end of the day, like Black Panther is T'Challa, and I think we've talked about that and the fact that T'Challa is a character that is still needed. And
Mhm.
I think what this has allowed them is the best of both, which is like they are now able to explore like, yeah, we get a black female as Black Panther, different than what it would normally have been. That's representation. We're getting to see something different. And then we set up a way that it will go back to being T'Challa, but not in a
But
forced
also,
way.
yeah. But also, do you know what I think is very important? It's literally giving Chadwick a very visual legacy
Yeah.
because there is a little black boy who gets to be a superhero one day because of Chadwick and Black
Yeah.
Panther. This young actor, whether he grows up and stays as T'Challa or whether they recast for an older one at some point, is neither here nor there. Another black man gets that
To yeah,
chance
it gets to
because
pick the
of Chadwick's
mantle.
legacy.
And
And the world is a bit warmer to the idea,
yeah,
which
and
is,
also, like, because it's in the storyline, it's his son, it's that whoever takes that on is like taking on the mantle of T'Challa, but also is like representing Chadwick's son and even stronger connection to that. And
Yeah,
like,
it's really nicely done. I loved how it was done. Um, I love the introduction of them, and there was
yeah,
actually a callback in that post-credit scene to the first film, which I'm sure people have seen on the internet by now, where she says to to T'Challa, um, "Your Baba prepared us for his death." When T'Challa was in the astral plane in Black Panther, he said, "We weren't ready for you to go." And his dad says, "Any father that's not prepared his children for his death has failed,"
mm,
which shows that T'Challa learnt from his father and made his son ready.
yeah,
And it also means, based on timeline wise, logically, he probably only had about a month with his son in continuity
yeah.
between getting dusted, coming
Oh
back,
yeah,
and passing.
and
Because
then
his son's about 6. He was
yeah,
dusted for 5 years,
yeah,
and he came back, died, and there was a flash forward of a year. So his son probably only got, like, at most, like, a month with him.
maybe a little like little bits here and there, but
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was also nice that um the mother knew
Yes.
and before she obviously like Shuri went through so much loss in one film, and it was just like
And
an
yeah.
emotional roller coaster.
But forgetting all of, like, the important stuff of how beautiful the story was, how gorgeous the film was, how important the film was,
Mm.
the action was top
Oh, the
notch.
fighting was great.
The action sequences were really well done. The way they showcased Namor's ability, so much fun.
Yeah,
His agility through the air, which you got a little bit of in the trailer when we saw him do like the zigzag,
yeah,
but the fact we got even more of that, phenomenal. He felt like a menace.
yeah, unstoppable.
I loved it so much.
They no, yeah, they did a great job of really showcasing Namor, and across like the whole breaking Riri or picking up Riri and that whole fight, like chase scene, them all doing their own little things, um, like all the combat where the fact that Wakandans finally had someone that was stronger and harder to fight. Um, just like kind of getting to see them meet a foe that isn't just because up until this point, Wakanda's like this race and culture and civilization that's like just way stronger than the rest of the world, and we know it, but we kind of just got to accept that they're going to be nice, and then we actually get to see them really tested.
Well, we almost get to see what happened if Wakandans had no love for the surface world.
Yeah,
Or for the rest of the world, I
yeah.
guess, for Wakanda. Because I mean, that's what Namor is. He would happily take over the surface world and let it all burn.
Um, we also got to see Namor and Namora talking at the end, and her being like, "This isn't what we wanted," and realizing that Namor is playing the long game, knowing that like we kind of it, the fighting ends and like Namor yields and Shuri kind of realizes this isn't the way to just like outright kill him. Like, gotta be a better person. Sort of like this isn't what I should be representing. And you
Yeah.
think, okay, she's kind of come to terms with things. He's also gone, oh shit. And you're like, oh, maybe he's turned a page in the right direction. But
He
no,
also
actually,
feels less invincible now, which is important.
yeah. But then it's like we get that moment of him back in his city, and he's like, oh, we'll just wait till they come to us to
Yeah.
help them
I
fight the
really
surface
like
world.
that we got to see his intelligence.
Yes. It
Because a
showed
lot of the film, it seemed like he was just this boisterous, arrogant, I'm
mm,
unstoppable. Which don't get me wrong, Namor is a lot in the comics, but he's also very intelligent.
yeah,
So
he's
they did need to find a way of showing us how smart he is.
and the fact that he's like playing a longer game,
Yeah.
which
He
then
knew
just
he
makes
couldn't win
them
then and there, so I'm gonna bide my time.
which also like really sets it up going forward because you then realize, oh wait, yeah, the like America and all that don't know that this was some other race. Like,
Mhm.
as far as they're aware still, this is Wakanda, and the fact that the, um, colonizer's boss, I forget his name, colonizer's
Everett.
boss, she was like she arrests him,
But
but then they break
no,
him
but it's
out at the end?
yeah, the Wakandas break him out to save him.
Yeah, but that doesn't
But that's did you not realize who she was?
isn't that the same woman that's been recruiting people?
Yeah, it's the lady that's been recruiting the Thunderbolts,
Yeah, I thought so.
which means they are US government backed.
Yes. So I'm this may be just because it's been a while since I watched Black Panther or some of the others, but did you think that I forget the actor's name that plays the colonizer,
Martin
Martin
Freeman.
Freeman? Did you feel like he was doing a different accent than
No,
previously? Maybe I'm just
no, he
couldn't
was doing
remember.
his American accent, which is pretty standard.
I don't know. Maybe it's just been a while, and I was like, I don't remember him sounding like this. But
Martin Freeman is one of the few British actors I think that does a lot of American accents very well.
oh
I
no,
didn't notice a massive difference.
I it wasn't that it was bad. I was like, I don't know. In my brain, I was like, I feel like maybe I've seen him in something else recently, and it was throwing me off.
Maybe.
And my brain was just like, I don't feel like this is what he used to sound like. But maybe he did. Maybe it's just been a while.
No,
But
no, he sounded the same to me.
okay, probably
Um,
just me then.
yeah. I also loved the kind of his role in the film in like framing things in the sense the American government clearly wants to essentially invade Wakanda.
Well, yeah,
If they
America
could, they would walk in,
take
start
everything.
drilling, and take the vibranium.
Yeah, exactly.
But him as someone who's been there, seen how beautiful it is, seen how lovely everyone is, and had his life saved by them,
He owes them, and
he's literally committing treason
yeah,
because he knows that actually we're the bad guys here.
yeah. I
And
think
I think it goes along with the whole kind of overarching story of, hey, rest of the world, the first world, maybe look at yourselves and realize you're not so perfect.
yeah. I I think he's gonna be I think in the future we're gonna see them try to invade Wakanda because they still blame them.
It
And they
it it it's ready for Doctor Doom to pull some shit.
yeah, and I think it's gonna take Mark Freeman's character being like the pawn again in between to get things to not go too far the wrong way, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um
But overall, I really love the film.
yeah.
Um, it was a beautiful way to end off Phase 4. Definitely one of the better Phase 4 projects as well.
Oh
For
yeah.
me personally, I'm probably only putting it behind Spider-Man. What else was
Yeah.
Phase 4?
Yeah.
Other Phase
Doctor
4 films.
Strange.
I think Black
Um
Panther in a lot of ways was better than Doctor Strange. It was
yeah, I
definitely
do.
better than Thor.
Yeah.
What else did we
Then
have?
it's TV
Was another one.
shows.
Oh, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi was good.
I might have Shang-Chi just above it. I might have it in third.
I'd say they're
But
similar, like,
but
level.
at the beginning of the MCU in 2008, if you just said two of the three best projects in Phase 4 were going to be led by and almost exclusively an all non-white cast,
Yeah.
you'd be going, "Wow, that's a big step in the right direction." Um, and it shows what brilliant films and world building you can get when you let culture write and direct culture.
Yeah, it's from if you look back at the start of the MCU and now, like, the representation's just so much better and come such a long way, and it's nice to see and just in, like, a lot of different senses. But Phase 4, I know a lot of people have felt, "Oh, Phase 4's slow, there's not much going on." But when you actually, like, look back on it, there's a lot of good projects that have
I feel like if you look at Phase 4, it just looks like a giant powder keg, and any one of the next 3 films is just gonna light the whole thing on fire.
mhm, I agree. I think honestly, I think the only thing I wish Black Panther had had to wrap up Phase 4 was one of those post-credit scenes we, like, talked about a couple weeks back.
I
Just
agree, but having seen the one post-credit scene they had, I don't think they could have had that and another one.
no. Um,
And I think that was probably what they probably filmed other ones, but then once they saw that one in there, they were like, "No, let's just leave it there."
I think what I partly think is whatever was the original script, because there is an original script with T'Challa,
Yeah.
like, they would have had some plan of what they were gonna probably, like, use to set up, and then because they've changed and had to redo things, that didn't feel right anymore. So, like you said, they stuck with what they did. One thing also wish is like we'd got that some point in the film got some hint towards Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
but I liked the Riri stuff, and I like how she's gone.
Riri was so good.
the The whole fact as well that she mentioned that, oh, yeah, there's a whole YouTube channel based on my sightings. So there's like a lot of fun to be had there with this, and
And we've also got to remember she's at MIT where Ned and MJ are.
yeah, and she's got sent back, and now she has definitely got Wakanda funding, even if she is not explicit. Like they're definitely going to have sent her
They're gonna
back with
look
some stuff.
after her, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be there in some MIT class, being like, "Yeah, I've just made this vibranium. Where the fuck did you get that from?" uh,
I also like how explicitly they showed how genius she is. Like, oh,
yeah,
the Americans have a vibranium detector. Like the more said, I was like, no one has that. What the fuck are you talking about? He's like, go find the scientist, and it's like a student.
it's a student who
How long
made
did
it
it
for a
take you to build this? Like
project.
2 months.
Yeah, she made it for a project, and then the CIA basically just came along and took it.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I l-
and do you know what the scariest thing is? That is definitely something that can really happen if you guys aren't aware. If you're a university student, you do something for a project, or you're working at a university with funding. At any point, legally, the army can come in, take your research, take your stuff, and use it for
Mhm,
whatever they want, and there's nothing you can do about it.
mhm. I
Which isn't
also
at all terrifying.
I loved when they were in the garage and she's like, "Don't touch anything." And then when the police rock up, she's like, "Oh, for fuck! Like, really? I've just spent." And she starts ripping stuff down and burning it. And she's like, "Oh, I've got to get rid of everything now." um, and the fact that they fixed the car up was nice. I like that little
Yes.
sentimental
Yeah.
touch. Interested to
Um.
see the next suit she builds, though.
Yes. I like that we got a shitty version, then a really good version because you had access to Wakanda tech, and then Shuri's like, you can't take that with you. So then she's going to have to downgrade again because of her access, but we know what she has the ability to build
She's
now.
gonna downgrade, and then Shuri's gonna rock up whenever they rejoin. Shuri's just gonna rock up with the suit
Shuri
and be
has
like,
been
"You need this."
confirmed to be an Ironheart.
Oh, then she's obviously gonna rock up with it and go, "Right, I've got this gift for you. You've proved
Now
yourself
that
as
you've
something."
clearly decided to actually be a hero.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but I think that wraps up everything about Black Panther.
Yeah,
Um, and it's time to move on